Hello, students. After a break, we are continuing with our pending lesson, and we will start our educational journey from chapter 1 only. Before I will go ahead, I would like to just clarify that your homework evaluation done by me, and I think so I required to prepare one separate video about how to write the answers of social studies. Till now, the way how you were writing answers in primary, okay, in high school, especially in board exams, the way of writing answer is very different. So my next video is based on how to write the answer, and I request all of you that please check that video carefully, that how to write the answer, and then only you have to go for further homework about textual exercise question answer. I again clarify, how to write the answers is very different in high school, especially in 10th standard. So we require to learn, and we require to we have to go for a habit to prepare the answer with a proper presentation aspects. So right now I am going for a topic. After that topic is over, in my next video, that is tomorrow, I will tell you how to write the answer. Tomorrow's whole lecture is based on your presentation aspects, and I will also show you the answer book of those students who score very good marks in 10th standard social studies or social science. So in that case, in that situation, you will come to know that those who are getting very high mark or very good marks in social science subject, how they write the answer. And this answer book provided by our Gujarat Secondary Education Board, who will conduct your 10th standard exam. So you will come to know that how to write the answers. Okay. So now we start our today's journey. And in our last lecture, we talk about annexation policy of Dalhousie. Okay, we talk about this Dalhousie's policy of annexation on various pattern. And today we will talk about the topic is economic impact of East India Company. So let's start without any disturbance. Now, when we evaluate the 100 years of company's rule in India, see, if you want to evaluate 100 year what company rule and how company work and how company deal with our country, okay, then in that case, in that situation, in that context, there are some positive impact also available and there are some negative impact also available. Okay, we will talk about negative impact first and then we go for positive impact. Okay, now we realize that India, which had enviable position, okay, now enviable position means what? The meaning of enviable position means complete control or controlling position or high place or power position. Okay, that is called enviable position. Enviable position indicate that we are on upper hand. Okay, I again repeat the sentence. We realize that India, which had an enviable position, very high position in the world in the previous century. In the previous century, we are on very high position. We are on controlling position. But now what happened? It became merely a country that produced raw material for England. Now what happened? India became a country, okay, which produced raw material for England, okay, and a prospective market for goods produced in factories. See, we face two drawbacks. Whatever raw material prepared in India, that we provide to England. Now what England does? England convert that raw material into finished goods, sellable item. From raw material, England convert into sellable items. And that item is sold by England into India. So India become prospective market. Means what? Whatever goods produced in factories of England, that goods sold to India. So India become prospective market. Imagine England purchase raw material from us, prepare the goods over there, and sell that goods to us. So we one side became raw material provider, and other side we became buyer. We became market. Means what? All the goods produced in factories of Great Britain, that all the products sell to India. So this is the situation. We face double loss. One side we are selling raw material at cheap rate. Other side, whatever goods produced in British factories, England factories, that they try to sell us at very high price. So we face both the side economical drawback. Next situation arises about Bengal. Now in Bengal exported cotton. Okay, what are the export? Export means what? Bengal sale to other country. Okay, the word export indicate what? Export means we sell to other countries. So Bengal was exporter. So Bengal exported which product? Cotton cloth, raw silk, sugar, jute, muslin, that is 1708 to 756. These all are the main product of Bengal. Bengal sell these products. Okay, but after the dual power policy, now please underline, those who have a textbook with them, please underline dual power policy. This word is important. Okay, dual power policy. But after the dual power policy, okay, the glitter of economic prosperity, the high level of economic, financial, money matter, prosperity, financial situation, very high financial situation of Bengal faded. Faded means destroy. Financially, Bengal destroy. Why Bengal destroy financially? Because of dual power policy. Then the question arises, what is dual power policy? Okay, dual power, dual means two. Okay, the dual power policy, or we can say Dvimukhi Shashan. Dvi means two, Mukhi means face. Okay, same dual power, Dvimukhi Shashan. So the financial situation of Bengal become very bad because of dual power policy. Now what is dual power policy? This dual power policy was introduced for the first time in Bengal, whereby the power of collecting revenue was with the British. Means all the taxes, okay, British required to collect. Okay, Britishers go door to door, house to house, or business house to business house, and collect the revenue. Revenue means what? Taxes. All the taxes, income comes to British. So British collect the revenue, okay, and the revenue collection was in British hand, while the responsibility of people's welfare was with Nawab. See the situation. Whatever money collection done, that is done by Britishers. Britishers collect money. Now when money required to spend for betterment of people, welfare, that is the job of Nawab. So it's a very awkward policy, I should say. Britishers collect the tax, Britishers collect the income, Britishers get the money. Chalo, fine, no problem. With that money, if Britishers do some welfare, do something good for people of Bengal, we understand. That's fantastic. But here what happened? Britishers collecting the revenue. But if some expense required to done for people, for road, hospital, facilities, then all these, okay, responsibility of Nawab. So Nawab don't have a right to collect income. But Nawab required to spend money for people welfare. And British required to collect the income, but don't require to spend for people. So here what happened? Thus, the Britishers got the power. Why they got the power? Because they are collecting revenue. They are getting money. So Britishers got the power without any responsibility. Why? Because responsibility of people, that is the job of Nawab. So Britishers got the power without responsibility. And Nawab had responsibility. Welfare of people. Nawab has responsibility, but without any power. Imagine. Here British has power, but no responsibility. Nawab has responsibility, but no power. So that is very awkward situation. The group of people who are getting money, they don't spend for people. And those who are spent for people, they not get the money. So it creates worse situation. This kind of situation is known as subsidiary alliance system, which ruined Bengal. Now ruin means what? Okay, the word ruin indicate being destroyed. Okay, it is considered as destroy. Okay. Now, if you carefully concentrate, students, we complete the paragraph, but three things are saying. Which three things are saying? The things are saying is dual power policy, Dvimukhi Shashan, and subsidiary alliance system. These three are, in majority cases, they are considered as same. Okay. Now we go ahead next. Now the unfair revenue collection policy. Okay. Now unfair means what? Unfair means cheating. You can see here. The word unfair indicate what? Not based on behaving accordingly to the principle of equality or justice, or unjust. Okay. The word unjust is familiar to you. So unfair means unjust. This unjust revenue collection policy or haphazard or very bad policy of revenue collection by the company made the Indian peasant or debtor. Okay. Now the word peasant. Okay. Peasant means what? Peasant is a poor person. Okay. So because of Britishers are collecting revenue and they don't want to use for people. So what happened? Because of Britishers are collecting revenue from everybody, the Indian citizen either become poor or become debtor. Now debtor means what? See, the meaning of debtor is a person or organization that owes the money. Or you can say debtor are often also called borrower. Okay. Clear? All the money collect by whom? All the money collect by the company. Now if anybody want money, then they have to go and ask Britishers, will you please borrow some money to me? So imagine Indian citizen either become poor or become debtor. Why? Because their money collected by Britishers in the form of revenue and taxes. The British government imposed unfair taxes on Indian cloth industry. In India, we have an extraordinary cloth industry, cotton cloth, silk cloth. We have an extraordinary huge amount of cotton industry. But because government imposed unfair taxes. Unfair means what? There is no policy. There is no rules, regulation. There is no measurement. Chalo bhai, tomorrow onwards, okay, you have to pay 50% tax. Means if you earn 100 rupees, 50 rupees give to government. Okay. We say, but sir, if I give you 50 rupees, then what I will keep with me? That is none of my business. Bye. Okay, tax. 50 rupees tax. Per 100, 50 rupees tax. If you want 1000 rupees, 500 rupees tax. If you want 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees tax. This is called what? It is, these all are what I narrate. They are example of unfair taxes. So British government impose means implement unfair, unjust taxes on Indian cloth industry. So Indian cloth industry face very bad situation. They adopt various deceitful practices. Okay. Now here deceitful means what? Deceitful means misleading others, that is dishonest or cheating, we can say. So here what happened? They adopt, British East India Company adopt various cheating or dishonest practice to ruin means destroy, to ruin or destroy the prosperous Indian industry. Prosperous means very valuable, high earning. Okay, because of Britishers adopt various dishonest policy, it go for ruin means destroy the prosperity, income, financial situation of Indian industry. The sentence says that because of the dishonesty of East India Company, the financial situation of Indian industry is very badly affected, because of which it completely collapsed. Okay, it destroyed. Okay, it go down. Okay, the Indian artisan become poor. Okay, now who are artisan? Artisan means a worker, or we can say a skilled trade, especially one that involves making things by hand. They are called artisans. I would like to show you artisans. See, these all are artisans. If you notice, they use their hand to do something. These all are artisans. Okay. There. If you observe, they are doing with the cloth industry. I mean to say, majority of them are deal with cloth. Okay. So the Indian artisan means these people. The Indian artisan become poor and unemployed. Okay, all the Indian artisans are become poor and unemployed. Okay, why? Because they have to pay very high amount. Okay, as a revenue. So for them, nothing remains as an income. So either they become poor or they become unemployed. Unemployed means what? Jobless. Okay, without work. The company traders force the weaver of Bengal to sign the contract for providing definite quantity of cloth in a short period. Now here what happened? Britishers apply one cheating over here. Okay, those who are weavers. Now weaver means what? See, these are called weaver. Weaver means a person who make fabric by weaving fiber. I hope you can able to see this person is weaving, and you are able to see at downside that the cloth is preparing by them. Okay, these are called weavers. Okay, so now here what happens? See, the company's traders force the weavers of Bengal to sign the contract. All these weaver has to sign the contract, and the contract is says what? That they have to complete some quantity of cloth in short period. They have to prepare the cloth for East India Company. Okay, but whatever quantity company say that they have to prepare, and whatever time company say in that short time they have to prepare. See, timing also reduce and quantity increase. And if the weaver refuse, if any weaver say that British East India Company, I can't complete this quantity of cloth in this particular short period, then what Britishers did, he would be punished. That weaver punished by being lashed. Lash means what? Hunter, if you observe. Okay, here in horse cart, you notice they hit the hunter on the leg of the horse. Okay, the same way they beat the weaver or throw them in the jail. So imagine the situation of weaver. They first of all they force, okay, to weaver, okay, that you have to sign on the contract. In contract what mentioned? That quantity whatever company say that they have to produce, and in time whatever company say that time they have to produce. If anybody refuse to sign that particular contract, then the East India Company punish them by lashing or by hitting them or by throwing them in the jail. So you have to agree what Britishers says. Now, before the arrival of the company, the Indian villages were self-reliant. Self-reliant means what? Okay, right now one word is suggested by our Prime Minister. Okay, self-reliant, Atmanirbhar. Okay, they are doing their own income, they manage their own expense. They are not dependent on anybody. That is called self-reliant. And prosperous, very high incomes and very high living standard. But under the company's rule, they become dependent on British India Company and they become poor. They have to ask money. They have to borrow money from Britishers. So they depend on Britishers and their situation is become very poor. Now during the rule of East India Company, the first railway line between Mumbai to Thane, okay, we already discussed this, Mumbai to Thane, and the steamer service, okay, between India to England was start. Railway also start. Steamer also. So steamer means what? One boat, okay, and that boat is used to travel, okay, from India to England. That also start. Not only that, development of the ports on Mumbai, Madras, and Calcutta also took place. So these are the positive impact. Okay, which are the positive impact? That they start the railway line, they start the steamer between India and England. They start this port, develop port also in Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata. Okay, what we learn till now, that is economical situation or economical impact of company's rule. Now we are talking about social impact of company's rule. Now what are the social impact of company's rule? We have to start that. Let's start. During the British administration, the spirit of freedom of speech, okay, and thought developed among people due to the development of newspaper. See, in British time, what happened? British administration time, okay, freedom of speech improved because of newspaper available. People can express their thought, Okay, in newspaper, people are allowed to go for a speech. People can express their thought in the newspaper, or they organize the conference and meeting, and they are able to. They got the freedom of providing the speech, express their thoughts, because huge development in terms of newspaper. So whatever people thought, that publish in newspaper, so other people can come to know. Now, in the Indian society, certain wrong social custom, rites, okay, and rituals were prevalent during the time. Okay. Now, some social evils or some wrong practice. Okay, rites means what? Rites means religious or ceremony. So, under the name of religion, some wrong practice is going on. Okay, clear? Certain wrong social traditions or religious traditions are going on. Which are these wrong traditions were going on? That is sati system. Now in sati system, what happened? Sati system means if the husband die, then wife also required to die with the husband. When they burn the body of the husband, okay, wife also required to be burn herself, okay, and die. Okay, that is called sati system. Okay. Female infanticide means what? Female infanticide means if girl child available, then in very hot milk, okay, they throw that girl child and the child die. Okay, that's why we require a program. Okay, save girl child. Okay, then child marriage at a small age or very young age, they go for organize the marriage of the children. Okay, so these are the social issues. Okay, wrong practice, sati system, female infanticide, child marriage, these are required to be stopped. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Durga Ram Mehta and Behramji Malbari were the stalwarts, okay, hard working people whose role was instrumental, very important in getting the law passed with the help of Britishers. These three people, and along with these three people, there are so many other people work very hard, and they passed the law in a British, okay, that nobody go for sati system. Okay, child marriage not allowed. Female infanticide is considered as punishable offense. Okay, the law says that you will be thrown in the jail. So these people go for a change, and they take the help of Britishers and say to the Britishers that please stop all this nonsense. Okay, you can able to see the photograph of, here we have Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, here we have Mr. Behramji Malbari. Okay, and this is the photo of Durga Ram Mehta. Okay, these are stalwarts, means hard working people who took the help of Britishers, and they decide that the law must pass and all these things are required to be stopped. As the administrative framework, means management in India, was Anglicide. Anglicide means what? Done in English. Okay, majority administration work of India was done in English. There was a demand for people with the knowledge of English, because every work done in English. So we require people who know English. Okay, that's the situation arise. So English education began to be imparted in India due to Lord Macaulay endeavors. So Lord Macaulay start English education and implement English education, and started the situation that people start learning, okay, about English education pattern. So Lord Macaulay start English education in India. You can say that. Here we have Lord Macaulay. This is the person who start English education. Okay, you all are from English medium. So okay, this is the person who start English education. You can able to see this fellow is the one who start English education in our country. You can see the face, Lord Macaulay. Okay, so English education began to imparted in India due to Lord Macaulay's endeavor efforts. Okay, because of efforts of Lord Macaulay, English education start. Why English education start? Because majority work done in English. So we required people who understand English, and for satisfying that demand, Lord Macaulay start English education. After Lord Macaulay, what happened? As recommended by Charles Wood, universities were established in Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata. these three places that start university, okay, college level education. Charles Wood recommended that, okay, and the university started in Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata. As you are able to see, here we have Mr. Charles Wood who recommended to start the university in terms of Mumbai, okay, then Madras, and then Kolkata. So Charles Wood is the person who recommended to go for universities. A whole a class of people with a knowledge of English developed because of English education. We already talked about that they start English education. So after some year, what happened? We get a class. Class means level, not the classroom what you are studying. A whole class means what? The whole class means the level, the category of a people available in society who has a knowledge of English developed because of English education. With the passage of time, the group made demands for social reform. Those who learn English language and those who have knowledge of English language, these people are a different class of people, and they demand for social reform, social change, and gave momentum, okay, gave boost up to process of reform. Now reform means what? Whenever you try to remove a wrong practice in society, it is called reform. Like if you stop sati system, then you are doing reform of society. Okay, if you stop female infanticide, then you are doing reforms. So these English educated people start reforms in society because they understand what is good, what is bad. So they realize that how it is possible that sati system, somebody died because of someone else died. It's not logical. So they try to change the society, and because of their knowledge of English language, okay, they are successful in many contexts. Now the conclusion.